There is a gap between action and motion. Most people live their entire life inside that gap without ever knowing it exists. Think about that. You wake up, you check your phone, you answer messages, you attend the meeting, you make the calls, you cross things off the list. At the end of the day, you are exhausted. You collapse and think, I worked so hard. But did you actually go somewhere? Motion feels like progress. Motion feels like effort. Motion feels like you are doing something. But motion is not action. Motion is busy. Action is directed. Motion spins the wheels. Action moves the car forward. Most people are not lazy. Most people are in constant motion. They read the books, they watch the videos, they plan the plan, they research the research, they attend the seminar, they buy the course, they organize the desk for the 5th time, and they call all of that progress. It is not progress, it is motion disguised as progress. And that is the most dangerous kind of standing still, because it feels like movement. Wow. Your life stays exactly where it started. What have you actually finished this month? Not planned, not researched, not thought about. Finished. If that makes you uncomfortable, discomfort is where this conversation starts. Action is uncomfortable. Action has a cost. Action means making the call that might get rejected. Action means asking the question that might get a no. Motion never risks anything. Motion orbits the real work, close enough to feel warm, far enough to stay safe. That is why people choose motion. It protects them from what they fear most, failure and judgment. As long as you are still preparing, you cannot fail. As long as you are still researching, you cannot be criticized. As long as you are still planning, you never have to face the result. But preparing forever is its own failure. Researching forever is its own criticism. Planning forever is still not doing. Days become weeks. Weeks become months. Months become years. The gap between action and motion becomes the whole story of a life that never quite began. Nobody is coming to close that gap. No one is coming to make the decision. No one is coming to force you to start. No one is coming to tell you that you have prepared enough. That responsibility belongs to you alone. Look at your life. The business idea in your notes app for 2 years. The book you have been about to start since January. The conversation you rehearse in your head instead of having out loud. None of that is laziness. All of that is motion. Endless motion aimed at everything except the one thing that would actually change something. Motion is not the enemy. Motion has a place. You need to learn. You need to plan. You need to prepare. But motion was only ever supposed to be the doorway. The problem is not that people walk through the doorway. The problem is that they decorate it, furnish it, move in and live inside it, and never walk into the room where the real work happens. The gym membership used as evidence of effort, while workouts stay unfinished. The notebook full of business plans, while the business never gets registered. The relationship advice absorbed from every podcast, while the hard conversation still has not happened. This is the gap. It sits there quietly, turning years into motion without turning motion into results. The gap does not punish you all at once. It punishes you in installments so small you barely notice them. One day of research instead of one draft. One more course instead of one client. One more conversation about the plan instead of one conversation with the person who matters. Stacked together over months, they become the entire distance between the life you talk about and the life you are actually living. So how do you close the gap? Not with motivation. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings do not build anything that lasts. You close the gap with a decision made once and defend it every single day after that. Here are the 5 shifts that close the gap. First, stop asking, what should I learn next? And start asking, what have I shipped this week? Learning is motion. Shipping is action. If you cannot point to something you finished and released in the last 7 days, you are not behind on results. You are behind on action. Second, set a deadline. that is uncomfortable, not comfortable. Comfortable deadlines get extended. Uncomfortable deadlines get respected. A deadline with no consequence is just a suggestion, and suggestions are easy to ignore at night, when the couch feels better than the desk. Third, do the thing before you feel ready. You will never feel ready. Readiness is not a signal that arrives before action. Readiness is a byproduct that only shows up after action, again and again, until what once felt impossible becomes normal. Waiting to feel ready is just motion wearing a disguise. That sounds responsible. Fourth, shrink the action until it is too small to postpone. You do not need to write the book today. You need to write one page. You do not need to launch the business today. You need to send one message. Action does not require size. It requires direction. A small step in the right direction always outperforms motion in no direction at all. Fifth, remove the audience from your preparation. So much motion exists to be seen. The planning captured for a post. The routine performed for a story. The progress that only counts once someone else has noticed it. Action does not need a witness. It only needs to get done. The moment you stop performing your effort and start producing your results, the gap starts closing on its own. Success is not complicated. It is not luck. It is not timing. It is not talent. Success is the willingness to walk out of the doorway of motion and into the room of action over and over, especially on the days you do not feel like it. Every person who built something real crossed that gap thousands of times before anyone noticed. They sent the message with shaking hands. They launched the thing that was not perfect. They asked the question that could have ended in rejection, not because they were fearless, because they understood that motion, no matter how comfortable, was never going to build the life they actually wanted. The gap does not close on its own. It does not close with age. It does not close with more information. It closes the moment you choose the harder thing over, the easier thing, today, not someday. Think about where this leads if nothing changes. 5 years from now, still researching the same idea, still planning the same launch, still rehearsing the same conversation. Older, busier, more informed, and no closer to the life you described to yourself tonight. That is not a threat. That is simply what happens when motion is allowed to substitute for action long enough. The years do not ask permission. They just pass, whether the gap closes or not. But there is another version of 5 years from now. One where the page you did not write got written. One where the message you did not send got answered. One where the business you kept researching finally got built, imperfectly, in public, one shipped version at a time. That version is not reserved for people with more talent or more luck. It is reserved for people who close the gap, one uncomfortable action at a time, long before they felt ready to. So ask yourself, are you in motion or are you taking action? Are you preparing or are you producing? Are you circling the doorway or are you walking through it? The gap between action and motion is not measured in effort. It is measured in results, and results do not care how busy you looked. Results only respond to one thing: what you actually finished and put into the world today. You already know which side of that gap you are standing on. The only question left is what you are going to do about it in the next 24 hours, not next month, not next week, not when you feel ready. Now, put the one thing you have been circling for months, the message you have not sent, the page you have not written, the call you have not made. Do it today, before you sleep, before you let motion talk you out of it one more time. Every future you have ever wanted is sitting on the other side of one decision. You keep postponing, not 10 decisions, not 100, one, the one you already know, the one you have been circling in silence, dressed up as planning, disguised as preparation, protected by the comfortable lie that you are still getting ready. You are not getting ready. You are getting stuck. The only way out of stuck is through the door you keep walking past. Close the gap, one finished thing at a time. Watch how fast the rest of your life starts moving in a direction that actually goes somewhere.